Hey folks, welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Blackview DR900X Plus dash cams. These things are ridiculous. They are super powerful, compact, sleek. They look good on your dashboard. And with the Blackview DR900X Plus model's new and improved 4K ultra high resolution front camera and newer Sony Starvis sensor for the rear camera, you can be sure that you will capture all the important details on the road during the day and at night. I love this Blackview dash cam because it gives me the peace of mind that my car, day or night, is always protected. Whether I'm driving and looking to capture the craziness that goes on the road, maybe grab myself a viral video or protect myself from insurance fraud, with the seamless pairing feature, connecting with the Blackview app, transferring those videos, and setting up the dash cam for cloud connectivity, it's easier than ever. But what about when you're away from the car? If I'm honest, more bad things have happened to my car when I was away from it than when I'm in it. With built-in voltage monitoring, you can leave your car protected by Blackview's parking mode without fear of draining your car's battery. And thanks to the optional LTE connectivity module, the Blackview DR900X Plus Series dash cam always keeps you connected to your car from anywhere. This means you can receive impact notifications on your mobile device, check in on your car with remote live view, and rest easy knowing that live event upload saves impact footage in real time to the cloud, including the all-important 5-second pre-impact buffer. The new mobile hotspot function allows you to turn your LTE-connected dash cam into a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 5 devices. Turn your dumb car into a smart car. The DR900X Plus Series model comes with an optional rear camera, which you can get now or add later on. So go to blackview.com/TST. That's BLACKVUE.com/TST and use code TIRE to get 10% off any Blackview dash cam, but especially the DR900X Plus. Free shipping for orders over $200. So go to blackview.com/TST and use promo code TIRE, 10% off any Blackview dash cam. We're also brought to you today by Innova, and we've been talking about Innova a lot on that show. You should buy one to keep in the car, keep at your house, keep in the garage, because you never know when that check engine light is going to come up. And if it does, there's all ways around it. Some people try to cover it up, unplug it, or dismiss it as an unsolved mystery. But the fact is, your car's not working right. That's why it came up, and you need to know how to find out what that light means. So with Innova, you can easily identify both the problem and what it takes to fix it. It's like having a personal mechanic in your pocket. I love Innova because it takes all the headache and guesswork of trying to take care of a vehicle, right? If you know someone or know someone like me, Innova is for you, and here's why. 3 steps. Step 1, you scan the code, right? Connect your Innova OBD2 diagnostic tool to your OBD port, and using features like hotkeys and the patented all-in-one display, scan your vehicle's onboard computers to detect for any malfunctions. With step 2, you can verify by pairing your tool with Innova's all-new Repair Solutions 2 mobile app. You'll now have free access to over 60 million fixed solutions that are verified for accuracy by real ASE certified technicians. In step 3, you can fix it because Repair Solutions 2 is the complete solution. In the app, you'll find troubleshooting information and even be able to order the right parts for the job. If you still got questions, Innova's USA-based customer support team is always available to help 6 days a week, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Innova tools speak your car's language, so you don't have to. You can buy Innova tools at all major automotive retailers, Amazon, and Innova.com to find the problem and fix the problem. So go to INNOVA.com, search for it on Amazon, or ask for it at your local automotive retailer. Find the problem and fix the problem. As always, we're brought to you by Off the Record, the official one-stop shop for getting those points off of your driving record. Listen, there is some truth to the fact that highway enforcement is about safety, but there is more truth to the fact that it is a financial ecosystem in which the police and the insurance company and the government are extracting money from you. You're just trying to get to work, and you should never, ever, ever plead guilty to a moving violation. Why? Because Off the Record is here for you. It's their job to keep those points off of your record. How do they do that? They do it by pairing you with a qualified attorney in your home state or the state where you got the ticket to fight that ticket for you and get the points off your record. And if they don't get those points off your record, money back guarantee, folks. They cover 97% of the American population, and they have a fabulous, fabulous success rate. We have had so many emails from people who have used Off the Record, and it's saved their behinds. Even other automotive journalists, our friend Jeff Glucker, our friend Dave Patterson, they have both fucked with Off the Record with incredible success. And so go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TST10 on the Off the Record app. And that gets you 10% off all OTR services until May of 2023. offtherecord.com/TST or code TST10 at the Off the Record app. We're also, lastly, of course, well, we're not brought to you. If you don't want to listen to me read these ads ever again, you could join our Patreon. Patreon is for our most fervent supporters. For a very small fee each month, you can catch our shows live as we record them and ask questions of us and our guests. You can have a totally ad-free listening experience, both from audio and video. You can have the show ready the second after we finish recording it, same day instead of waiting until Tuesday, Thursday schedule. So you don't have to be like, hey, when's that show going up? It's up right when we are finished recording it. And of course, the Pro Driver podcast, which is an extra 9th podcast, also ad-free, exclusively for our Pro Driver members that will never be published in the normal podcast feed. All of that is available at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. Of course, nothing will change with the regular show. Tuesday, Thursday shows, audio and video, all the guests, all the news. But if you want more, if you want it now, and if you don't want to hear me read ads, you can get all of those things at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. We've got a pricing level for everybody. It's very affordable, and it's a way for you to support the show without having to buy t-shirts you don't want or other swag. It's just good extra content coming to you faster and coming to you better at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. All right, on this episode of the show, coming to us from thedrive.com, the editorial staff of Kyle Cheromcha and Kristen Lee. Kyle is the editor-in-chief. Kristen is the deputy editor at thedrive.com. They are doing great things over there. Kristen's been on the show a whole bunch. It's the first time for Kyle, but we have a great chat about some of the new cars that have just come out and that they've been driving. We talk about motorcycles and scooters. We talk about closed, abandoned military bases in Sicily, and we talk about what it's like to daily drive a 1985 Blazer. It's Kyle Cheromcha and Kristen Lee on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
I'll get mad at us.
Oh yeah, what's the?
It's just like a bunch of buffalo strung together, and it somehow is a noun adjective verb.
Right.
What?
Yeah. It's like, I think if you say buffalo 4 times in a row, it might start with the.
Yeah.
Like the buffalo.
And
is
what,
actually
their
some,
PD comes over and pushes you to the ground?
It actually does mean something.
Yeah, there's...
Here.
Oh,
Yeah, it also summons
shit.
a Beetlejuice.
Ew!
Buffalo. Oh, it's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8. That is a grammatically correct sentence in English.
I don't think that I don't believe that. I think they're just fucking with us.
I mean,
They're just counting on no one to know
grammar well enough. But the thing is, it doesn't mean anything. An expanded form of but with synonym is buffalo bison that other buffalo bison bully, also bully. Oh, so buffalo is a synonym for the word bully.
Right, and it's a species, of course, and then it's also a place.
Right.
This is stupid.
Right.
It's very dumb.
I don't.
Adjective, noun,
adjective,
noun, verb, adjective, noun.
This is what happens if you don't have sex, don't check off, and don't get interested in space or physics.
So you've described the city of Buffalo. All right.
Damn. Okay.
You know what? We're being mean to them, but in fairness, I've been there.
I haven't, so I'm just going to base my impression
that
on what you're
sentence
saying.
is pretty much describes
Why
it.
were you
the most
in
interesting
Buffalo?
part of Buffalo.
Someone got married there.
Who got married?
Was someone from there. They are no longer together. That's okay. It's for the best.
Which one of them won the bowling alley in the divorce?
One of them got all 6 kids. The other one got to leave. I would say is pretty much how that one
Came out
went.
on top there.
Shout out to my boy Chris, who was the one who got to leave.
Where does Chris live now?
Florida?
Oh, like the most opposite place.
Summer
from
Buffalo.
Summer Buffalo.
Do we exist, Zach?
We do.
Okay. Wait, you want to spin that so I can see it? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Y'all don't need to be looking at that.
No.
That's my live.
Distracting.
That's my live monitor. That monitor says what everyone else is seeing.
There's also like a slight delay.
Yeah.
I just saw my hand do this 3 seconds later. So
It's a. That's why it's a reference point only. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the studio. Nice to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Both. How's the Lotus been, Kristen? Treating you well?
It's great. Love it. We went on a nice drive on the Crest yesterday.
Oh, did you get up there?
Spirited.
Yeah,
it was good.
You didn't bring that truck, right? No. Oh, okay. Blazer,
I
you got
should.
it.
I have driven it with speed before, but it doesn't enjoy it.
With relative speed.
The dead spot on the steering wheel is about 45 degrees in each direction.
Right.
So there is not much precision with which to
keep the mic. Bring the mic closer to you.
There's not much.
You don't have to go to it. You can bring it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not much precision with which you can aim that thing.
Yeah, that car. It's voted most likely to hit a row of parked cars while attempting to go straight, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the steering is so light, you can twirl the wheel with one finger, and it's a good party trick. But yeah, when it comes to actual, road feel doesn't exist in that thing. Maneuverability is
power steering boost.
Yeah. Oh, total over 80s over boosted power steering. It's pretty. It's like parallel parking's
what's that thing running? 40 psi. Really? Turbos? Power steering. No, that thing is like 97% attitude.
Yeah.
And 3% rust.
Yeah, and I felt 3% rust is probably an accurate figure. It's a SoCal truck, but like Santa Monica, so the salt air.
Oh, dude,
had an impact over the years. Yeah.
It depends, like what direction the garage faced. If the garage faced east, it's okay. My garage faces east, and so I think my cars are all right. But I have a closet in my house in Venice that faces west, and we started discovering, like, I'd pull out a jacket and there'd be mold on the fucking jacket. And I had to throw away some clothing that I really liked. And we just got one of them, like, not long ago. Finally got one of those hanging bags of, like, I don't know, they look like plastic pellets that hang in this bag. And over time, the plastic pellets absorb moisture out of the air and, like, melt and turn into liquid. And in about a week, the fucking bag is half liquid. And I'm like, oh, maybe we should convert this closet to a sauna. Because it's...
That's horrible. No one tells you about that.
They don't tell you about that.
No.
Living at the beach.
No.
I mean, like, it should be kind of obvious.
Yeah,
but like, with the wind... You don't think about humidity because it's like flowing and you're not like, sweaty. But like it gets trapped in like little corners.
I don't like that.
And you only figure it out when there's mold on your suitcases and your leather coats.
I like my
I would rather have rust on my truck than molds in my
closet.
closet.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Yeah.
And the Blazer was parked outside for its whole life, so it did not have any garage pedigree.
It's free range.
Free range.
It was a free range Blazer.
Free range
Blazer.
And it was on the east side of the house that it was in front of.
Perfect.
And so yes, it was shielded a little bit from the
blocked.
salt.
Yes.
Yeah. But
it's cool looking though.
Yeah, it's cool. It's gone through some rough times. It sat for a while. It needed a lot of work over the last couple of years to get it back on the road. Getting it smogged was like the battle to end all battles
I'm
with
not
this
shocked.
city. It was just
Every Blazer like that looks like a singer that's back for their second try at it. They're like 50 years old. They did a stint somewhere.
Axl Rose in the wheelchair. Remember when Axl Rose broke his ankle and still had to go on tour? It's like that.
There's some real faded glory to it for sure. But it gets a lot of looks. People really enjoy seeing it on the road. And now that I probably should admit this, but driving it around before I got it smogged, on the old plates, it was always like, oh my God. It's just being able to go anywhere with it.
No one gives a fuck,
right?
Bro, I was out at Malibu on Sunday. I mean, the number of 458s still running around with no plates. I mean, it's ridiculous. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely drove past a few cops, and they would just. They probably didn't even pay attention. They put that sticker on your license plate here, right? So that the color, right, you can spot it if you're really looking for it. Like, oh, that's last year's color. That's 5 years ago's color. But now that I can drive at places like, again, we were just talking, not efficient, not comfortable, particularly.
Right.
Leaks on people's garage floors.
Yeah, we put trays under it.
If you bring it places,
like,
it's not house trained, it's not potty trained. But the feeling I get when I drive it, it's been worth the wait. It's been worth all the work that went into it, and the view, the visibility, commanding.
Well, they don't
absolutely
have
commanding
greenhouses like that anymore.
No.
I mean, even SUVs have like thick pillars,
Tall belt line.
Yeah. Well, that's why. I mean, I think that's one of the less credited reasons that people have been moving to crossovers, because the belt lines on sedans and shit
You
are
can't
so
see out
fucking
of them.
high.
Yeah.
Intolerable.
Yeah. And like and my wife, who is approximately your height, she for me it's less of a big deal, but and I move my seat all the way down, but for her she's like, the fuck, I can't see out of any of these cars you bring home. So yeah.
I can't see out of the Lotus, for example, but I feel like that's extreme. That's an extreme
The Lotus
example.
also has terrible visibility.
Doesn't the Lotus not have a rear window?
It's
It
like
does.
you can
It does.
mostly just see the engine.
It's like the size of this
Does
car.
that one have a glass window on the back, or does it have the carbon thing?
No, it's got the glass window.
It has
It's
a glass
It's
window?
more so to look at the engine while you look in your rear view.
Oh yeah, you can see the throttle linkage doing the thing in the rearview mirror.
And the
I actually
supercharger
kind of
on
enjoy
top.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I kind
really
of
all you
enjoy
see.
that. Yeah.
And then there's no side visibility looking backwards either. And the mirrors feel a little bit too short, or they're not out far enough.
Yeah.
You can't really see anything that's going on.
Right.
behind
It's
you at
like,
all.
would you like to look at your throttle linkage or your air intake?
Exactly.
These are your
Those are the things you can see.
And the other thing about the Lotus is that the tires on it were a little tired. A
Yeah.
little
Really?
spotty.
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, that thing.
Done a little track work.
Someone
bit.
drove somewhere very fast and hard.
They
with it.
were smooth. They were very smooth
Oh
tires.
shit, Corey, what the fuck, bro?
They're slicks now.
Get the fucking tires
Yeah,
going.
I mean,
on
the
this
slicks
thing.
we warmed them
Yeah.
up. We warmed them up. It worked out.
It's you actually get more grip until you get less.
Yeah, it like plateaus and then it.
If they're super sports, it's fine.
Or-
If they were
They're
cups,
Cup S.
They're-
Cup 2s.
Cup twos.
Oh,
yes.
really?
Cup twos.
Cup 2s, you get like 2 good laps, and then you're instantly 2 seconds slower, and you
Cool.
have 2,000 miles on them. I advise against people get Cup 2s. I don't really. I customers ask for them all the time. I'm like, you really fucking shouldn't. Are you entering a time attack in this 993? No, don't get Cup 2s. But it's a good car though.
It's a good car.
The Lotus, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first time actually driving a modern Lotus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I thought that the engine had a lot of character. It wasn't, it was pretty stiff, but felt comfortable enough.
It only has one setting.
Right, yeah, I appreciate that.
They don't have 6 different modes for
Love it.
your stuff.
I apprecited that.
They find a happy medium.
And it just feels different. There's something intangible almost about like the Lotusness. You sit in it. The cockpit feels like pretty much nothing else. The look on the outside. I mean, I was just saying. Kristen and I drove here in separate cars, as we just mentioned, and I spotted her from like a half mile away, catching up to her from the top of the 405 on ramp. I just was like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Lotus.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the way down there.
It doesn't look like anything
catches
else.
you.
No,
Yeah, it's
it
nice.
doesn't.
They managed to make a Camry V6 feel awfully powerful and fun.
I mean, the supercharger.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but
More sports cars need superchargers.
I think all of them need
Everything has
superchargers.
just gone to twin
Agreed.
turbo, and you're just missing everything down low.
As a
It's just-
supercharger
you could do-
owner,
I think
I agree.
The only car that I've driven with twin turbos that I was just like I really legitimately felt no lag was the 911 Turbo S.
there's a lot of other technology going on.
Yeah,
in
exactly,
there.
right? And
Yeah.
so you you're just missing something if you just think turbocharging is the only
Does Porsche
answer.
own the rights to variable geometry turbocharging?
I feel like they must.
I think they must because someone else would have started doing it by now
It's
if they could
incredible.
have. Because Porsche's been doing it for 10 years. 2011, I think they first started it. And that technology is, and actually I think it's more pronounced in the Boxster and Cayman, in the 718. If you drive a regular 718 and then an S, it's like the amount of torque difference is huge. It's also different displacement a little bit, but still, that technology is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And you can really tell. But the supercharging, it gives you this sort of linear feel that.
The red line isn't as high, but you plug all the holes.
But you also there are some downsides. The throttle blipping is a little lazy to spool up the supercharger in that car,
And varies from car to car, I've heard.
it varies from individual
in
cars.
Lotus.
Yeah, I
to
think
car.
Camisa said he was on the launch. Like, granted, that was years ago, but like they had 8 of them, and he drove a bunch of them, and they were all like responded a little bit differently. It's definitely a little lazy.
British
I found it
touch.
really hard to downshift them on the track, and so did Di.
Yeah, I mean, you have to change your driving style, right? So rather than a vroom, vroom on your blip, it's a vroom. It's a real, like, slow, deliberate blip that you could do once you get used to it. But it's one
That's
of the very,
what you were talking about when we were talking about.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
You can't do a quick stab because it gets choked up. It goes,
I was trying that. I was like, why doesn't this feel the same as in the BRZ?
right.
That's
And
why.
it's because you have to do a very slow, deliberate blip, which makes it kind of tricky until you get used to
Like
it.
an old V8. Like
yeah.
a carb V8.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But that's like part of its character.
I would
Yeah.
say so. I would say so.
It's full of flaws. We went out to dinner.
whoa.
We went out to
The trunk smells
dinner.
like plastic.
Wow,
too.
do you even auto enthusiast?
I guess
flaws?
not. I guess not. We went out to dinner, the 3 of us. I sat in the back.
Of what?
The
Wow.
She wanted
I'm sorry,
to.
the back? What do you mean the back?
There's the back row of the Evora.
There's a back seat.
It has a seat?
Yeah.
It's a
Let's
back
do.
seat.
I was just as shocked.
Yeah.
It does?
It's got
Yep.
2 back seats with 2 seat belts.
It does?
Yeah.
Do all the GTs have that?
It
or is
feels
optional?
mid-engine, but
It's
has
a mid-engine
2+2.
2+2. And the only other car
So
that was
funny, I
like
don't
that
think
was the i8.
I don't think I've ever even noticed it.
No, it does. It fits.
I mean, the normal driving position. There's literally no space between the seats
Right.
and the base of the
Yeah,
back
like my
seat.
seat would be touching.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
back.
So
well,
it
I
might as
sat
well not
behind
be
his
there.
wife.
Did you sit sideways or
No, I mean, it was suggestive. But and if I braced my head against the ceiling, I wouldn't pop up and hit it.
Oh, God.
So it worked.
Yeah, so it's really well designed for extra people. I think you probably get some kind of insurance break for having a 2+2.
Yeah, I think that's
Isn't
it
that
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Right?
That's the one. The 911 still has a back seat, is because of the insurance.
I hear lots of people talking about putting their young kids back there.
I've done it.
I've sat in the
4
back
people,
of the convertible 911, and there's literally I mean, if you are a child, I guess, but I had to sit sideways, and like my back was fucked for a week.
Yeah, no, my
afterwards.
friend
It was
Spike
not
just
good.
talks about his young people I know who have kids under like 5. That's who I really hear about
I've
doing
been
it.
doing it since I still do it.
Kids under 5 or pet Asian girls. I
Yeah,
don't know.
right?
Like,
Get
yeah.
one of those if you have a 911.
Is anyone under 5?
Hannah
How
tried
tall
to
are
get
you?
back there once, and it was like it just was not good. But I've seen very miserable people, like adults,
Oh no,
trying
it's not
to
a
sit back
good
there.
experience, but it's possible.
Yeah, it just sucks. The Lotus, I literally don't remember it having a back seat.
I will show you after this.
I'm sure
I'll
you
show
will.
you.
It's so funny. I wonder if it's optional. What if
No,
you-
they all came like that.
They all did.
Yeah.
It's not. You can't just get a shelf on some of them or something.
No, I
think
remember.
so.
Well, maybe, but I remember when the Evora came out, everybody was like, "Oh, it's got back seats. It's not Purist anymore." Blah blah blah. And you look at it, you're like, "You fit watermelon back there. That's your back
Maybe I
seat."
guess-
Standard
Maybe
measurement
I did
size.
throw something back there. I don't
Now
know.
let me ask you: have you seen any Lotus Evoras running around LA in the last year? Because I
A
haven't.
handful, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say if I see one, there is a over 50% chance it's got M plates on it.
Yeah.
Because there's at any given time 3 or 4 press cars running around LA that are probably being driven more than the
actual-
privately owned ones. I've probably seen another 3 or 4 privately owned ones. There's a guy I see who who came up to me and said that he saw my videos on them and that's why he bought one, and his was nice and he seemed very happy with it. And there was a doctor at my brother-in-law's hospital I saw. There was an orange GT over there like I saw last week, but a handful.
I wrote about the Lotus when I was at Business Insider, and someone emailed me and he was like, you know what, you've rekindled my love for it. And he went out and bought one like 3 months after
pressure.
that, sent me a photo and was like, you should get a cut. It was British Racing Green on tan.
You should. Dave could probably hook it up. Did you look
So
at
pretty.
the customer service number in the trunk? Did you open the trunk?
Yeah.
And it says like, 1-800 blah blah blah, but it's a guy. It's like Dave Smith. Actually has like an individual's name
No, I
to
missed
call
that.
for customer service. on the
Like,
trunk of
hey,
that
is this
car.
Dave?
Yeah.
Tires are a little bald.
There's like 12 people at that company. It's amazing. But like if you wanted that type of car, if you didn't want a Cayman GT4 or a base 911,
Ooh, we
that's
were
a
talking
great
about this
option.
yesterday.
yeah. I drove
Yeah.
one back to back with a Cayman GT4, like for fun.
And?
Predictable. The GT4 felt screwed together a little better. And a little more consistent, especially with that throttle blipping thing and the shifting. But it had the bucket seats, and I thought the Lotus was a little more usable. Like every day, like I thought it rode nicer in town, and it was at least as fast on the track, maybe even a little quicker on the track. And it didn't like hurt my outer thighs from climbing over the. It's not just that my ass is fat. It doesn't. It's like when I'm in the seat, it's fine. It's climbing over that bucket edge when you're like.
The Lotus seats are really nice.
They're really
like
good.
they're
Yeah.
deeply bolstered, but the bolsters are thick and padded well, so
Yeah.
like it's comfortable, but also really
It
supportive.
doesn't like bruise you from getting
Yeah,
in and out of
all
it.
the Porsche seats are feel like thin. They're not, but the foam is so
Right.
firm that I feel like you
Probably
feel that
weight
plastic
saving.
underneath. Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
You
it's-
should have seen how I drove here because I can't reach the pedals.
Do you have like buffalo boots shoes on to do it?
No, I can't. So I wore my Chuck Taylors, but what I had to do is I brought a towel from home and I folded it into eighths, and then I took my jacket and then like put it on top of that. So I have like a little booster seat
Oh,
to like push my legs forward so I can depress the clutch all the way.
Really? Even with the seat all the way
Even
forward,
with the seat
you can't
all the way
reach?
forward. Actually, the reason why I know that is because when we were filming Drive one day on top of the mountain and you showed up in your Evora and you said you can sit in it. So I did. And then I realized I couldn't put the clutch all the way in. So when I got it as a press car, I was like, all right, I'm going to bring a pillow with me because I know ahead of
idea.
time that this is not
I
going
had
to
to do
work.
that last week. I drove this Alpha GTA, and me and Sam, like, we had to put towels behind us
Yeah.
because the seat was bolted in, and the reach
Oh,
was a
then there
little
was
too far.
no hope for me to drive that car then if you guys couldn't reach it.
No, you
Yeah,
would
you'd
have maybe
struggle.
struggled.
Yeah.
Of course, I was like the opposite. I was like fat guy in a little car on all three of
Big
those
man, a
old
little
cars.
car.
Drove Parnelli Jones's fucking '69 Trans Am Mustang.
Oh, wow.
No pressure.
No pressure.
And I drove
Didn't crash it,
a
though.
mini, a 1960 mini race car where I look completely ridiculous and absolutely ruined the fucking power to weight.
I would
car.
love to see
The
that.
car weighed 1,300 pounds. And with me, that's a plus 260.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 20%.
I would love to see the actual 0 to 60 time of you doing that
Fucking
in the car.
up, me ruining it? Yeah.
Probably what, 4/10 of a second?
I
maybe?
mean, probably.
Something
The
like
good
that.
thing about being fat and testing cars is I'm consistently fat. So
Good baseline.
So I'm the constant in all those things. I don't think I had a picture of that mini,
don't.
Zach. Sorry. It was a classic mini. It was tiny. It had 10-inch slicks on it.
It was
Cool.
awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, that's Parnelli Jones's Mustang, which was a fucking motherfucker.
Who
that
owns
thing.
it?
This guy Jeff O'Neill owns it, who is a vintage racer and a winemaker from Paso.
As you do.
I think winemaking is his like second career, like it's like his second half of life career. I'm not really sure what he did before, but he owns quite a few vineyards up there. And you ever heard of Rabble wine? Mm-hmm. Rabble, it's like a really great $20 bottle of wine with really cool labels. He owns that. And Robert Hall is the other one. But they have this thing, Velocity Invitational, that they're doing.
The former Sonoma Speed
Correct.
Festival.
Former Sonoma Speed Festival, now been rebranded Velocity Invitational.
Was that the Goodwood attempt?
sort
sorta?
of.
It is a Goodwood-esque event for
Okay.
vintage racing and vintage cars. And they're trying to get like young people into old cars.
Okay.
And so they had me and Zach and Travis Akulski and Sam Smith and Basem and Casey Push.
Yeah, Push.
Casey Push up there to drive some old cars.
Nice.
And of course, they're like, Matt, you're in Parnelli's car first. I'm like, oh, no fucking pressure. But they brought out, and then he brought out this dude's 250 GTO, and he was mobbing it.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
which I got to go for. I'm not much for ride-alongs, but it's like, it's a fucking 250. I'm not going to like say no to that. We have video, and the dude was hustling this thing. There's the 250. And there's the Alpha right behind it that Zach was talking about, the GTA Junior.
Sick.
And Parnelli Jones's Mustang, you know, with a 302, you know, fucking Trans Am engine in it, it revs to 8,500 RPM.
So rad.
And it bogs below 5. And it's a 4-speed. So at Thunder Hill, you actually have to spend most of the track in second gear at like 6 to 7,500 RPM.
It's wonderful.
Which is really something that requires some getting used to.
Yeah, I mean, hearing those Trans Am cars run at the Historics race during Car Week, they're so loud.
The best.
They're so amazingly loud. It's incredible. I mean, from the inside, that must have been like ear protection.
No, helmet.
Helmet,
They
yeah, I guess
they
so.
apparently put mufflers on it. Apparently for the actual races, they run it totally uncorked.
Yeah.
But because they knew that like YouTubers were going to attempt to get audio, they put some mufflers on it. It was still fuck all loud.
Yeah, I bet.
But the audio worked.
Yep.
We did get audio despite not having windows. And I only had one moment where I shit my pants. Fortunately, I locked the fucking rear brakes going into turn 9. Like, woo!
Hello.
Woo! Okay. But yeah, that car, that red and black car, did I think 4 or 5 races in 1969 before having some kind of a mild crash, and it was retired for the season, and then restored, and you know. But fuck me,
Just a little off.
we have videos, but it's good.
Can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you guys been driving that's been very good or very terrible?
Yeah, what did you drive?
I drove the Huracan STO.
Oh yeah,
at Willow
we had to go in
a couple
that
weeks
too.
ago. Yeah.
Rowdy, isn't it?
Very rowdy, very rowdy. I mean, that thing just is. It's you know, a cliche, but it feels alive, man. It just wants to move and rotate and twist, and like it all feels controllable too. I was really, really impressed with that car.
Yeah,
I wish we could drive it on the street though. I mean, just being on the track, it's kind of a limited.
Well, you will. They're
Yeah.
going to have them in the fleets. We're getting one in November to drive on the street.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the little changes that they made that result in something that I don't want to call it twitchy but it wasn't twitchy because it was stable, but at the limit.
Oh, yeah.
You had to be careful with your hand movements.
Absolutely.
They tightened the steering rack, and it was the first Huracan that combines a rear wheel drive with rear steer.
Right,
So it
right.
really brings the back end around.
And I
nicely.
thought they did a really good job tweaking the rear steer system to make it feel more nimble without bogging it down or making it feel unpredictable. Because that's the thing with rear wheel steering, right? Is like sometimes you never know what it's going to do back there when you think you're making a predictable motion.
Porsche has
So it was
probably the
good.
best programming of the rear steer system in terms of making it invisible until you're like making a U-turn. But you know, especially because like Huracan Evo is like very capable, but not that exciting.
Yeah,
for what it was. This
Really?
thing,
You thought that?
the Evo.
I like the Evo.
I liked it. It wasn't like I didn't like it, but on the track, it was
okay.
not as fun as I thought a $300,000 car should. Like at Performance Car of the Year 2019, where Zach and I were, it didn't make the top 6, even though it was the fastest car we tested. It just wasn't like
Didn't the Veloster win that year?
it did.
Yeah.
The Veloster on the street could keep up with every supercar we had. It was fucking
awesome.
quick on the street. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it translated into selling any Velosters, but
Well,
I don't see a lot of those. I
Apparently
probably see
not.
as many fucking Lotus Evora
Right,
GTs as I see
right.
Veloster Ns.
I see Veloster. I actually see both around me, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, I see Lotuses in the city. I see Veloster Ns in the city.
Lotus could be an interesting
City car? It's a really good city car. It's a perfect stop and go traffic car because there's so much torque that you actually don't really need to give it gas to
That's true.
start crawling. You just
That's
take
true.
it off.
And people
And
get
it's-
out of your way because they think it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So they don't want to hit it.
And it's really hard to start, so it's really hard to steal.
Right, there's an immobilizer. The amount of times that I took it to the car wash, I was getting it valet parked, I'd stand there for an extra 2 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I have to go around the corner now. And without a doubt, there's the valet just sitting in there, confused, trying to turn the key, hitting the button. I was like, you have to like hit the... let me do it. Get out. I'll do it.
Yeah, I was a master of here's $5. Where can I park it?
Yeah, I was worried that was going to happen to me when I was staying here, but they put it right in the front. So I was like, oh, you don't even have to move it. I'll move it.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. When you're driving nice press cars, you have to carry extra cash for when
You gotta do the tip.
the tips, and in LA, the homeless people. You can't be chilling in a Lambo at a red light,
Yeah,
and the guy's
yeah.
there with the sign, and you cannot give that person money.
Yeah.
You have to, and you have to give them like more money than you would give them in your regular car. Like
Yeah.
whenever I get the Ferrari press cars and stuff, I got to be rolling around with like 20s to give these guys. I do. I feel like such a piece of shit. I feel like I feel like I need to like make. Not
Make
just do,
things right.
yeah, like I feel like there's an injustice happening, and like I need to somehow do something that's like where I'm not just gonna like not give this person money.
Because the explanation wouldn't sound great. Like, no, it's not mine. It's a free Ferrari that I've been given for a little while.
You don't understand. My life is special.
Yeah. No, I didn't rent it.
It's
They just
even
give it
better
to
than
me.
if I paid for it. Yeah, shit.
I didn't even ask for it.
Yeah, yeah.
They brought it to me.
I'll have a different one next week.
Yeah. I don't carry cash on me unless I'm driving nice press cars, and then I have to. I carry cash and I give it all to people on street corners.
That's
It just
nice.
is what it is.
That is nice of you. That is nice of you.
I'm privileged. It's the least I can do. I probably should be doing a lot more than that, frankly, but that's the least I can
You're
do.
doing something.
Yeah. But that STO thing
yeah.
is a special car.
It is, and I liked the way it felt light too. Like I don't remember what the exact weight reduction was off of it, but the amount of carbon fiber they threw.
85 kilos.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
that much,
Yeah.
but I think combined with everything else, it just felt so on its toes at all times, and I was really, and also just fucking fast. I mean,
It was really
doing
fast.
160 something at the back end of the front straight. Like that's.
And Willow's a fast track.
It's a fast. Big Willow's a
fucking hate
fast
that
track.
track so much.
we were talking about this earlier. That's the track where I have the most experience, and it was the first track that I drove on. Like something really fast, and so to me, it's almost normal to not have like no runoff
Yeah.
on a 120-mile-an-hour sweeper, and just to like deal with the pavement issues and everything like that.
Big Willow gave you brainworms. It's not
It gave me
supposed to be
brain
like
worms.
that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is great, awesome.
It's not
cool.
supposed to be like
So
that.
I'm a fan of the track, but I recognize that like I don't know it as well as I could. Like carousel especially, like they showed us the telemetry data, and I was just like. Just a big spike of like you're so much slower than the instructor in this section at the carousel.
Omega top?
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I had that car is something special.
That track is just like grip and bravery. Really, it's not like it's a hard track. There's only 9 corners. The line is pretty obvious. You're not taking a lot of curbing anywhere. And it's in theory it's simple.
Yeah.
But the difference between running a good time and an okay time is just how brave or stupid are you, and how good are your tires, and how willing are you to get right up on the edge of having a very serious crash. Because there's no little crashes there. Like the littlest off, you're breaking shit. Maybe even yourself.
I had a little crash there.
Did you?
In my car.
Did you really?
The very first track day I ever did in my
your
life.
Mercedes?
My Mercedes.
Oh.
Okay, this is so bad. It was
heard
like
this
I was
story.
in college, and we got an invite to go do a track day at Big Willow, and I was like, that sounds fun. So we got up at the crack of dawn, drove the cars there, drove my car there. It's like 90 miles from LA. It's like kind of far. And then we got there and they checked tire pressure. Oh my God, I fucked this up so badly. I didn't check any of the fluids. I didn't check like tread wear or like my brakes. I just showed up as is in my daily.
And what's your daily for the audience again?
It's a 2002 Mercedes-Benz C32. And
AMG.
Huh?
AMG, right?
Yes, it's an AMG. And it was fine. Like the instructor rode with me for the first couple of laps, showed me all of the braking points, the line, how to drive on a track. It was very informative. And then after lunch, I was like, I'm feeling pretty good about it, forgetting that the tires cool off when you don't drive it for a little while. So I went up first, and then I was like, I'm feeling good. And I think around it was turn 6. It's like right when you start coming down the hill, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then like just ass came out, and I like panic braked.
The negative G corner in the back gets light.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So it was just like whoop down, and then 85 miles an hour sideways down that hill. I thought I was gonna flip the car. Like it was like going like this. I thought I was gonna turn her over for sure.
And
then
the
I
odds were
didn't.
decent that you could have.
That I could have.
Yeah.
And I didn't. We just spun a bunch. All the sand came into the car. I'm still cleaning the sand out, by the way. It's all in the air vents, and. This is all on video too. It exists somewhere. I don't know where it is anymore. Turned the car off, and I was like, I think I'm okay. I'm alive. I think the car is fine. And then they came out and they towed me back. And the only thing that happened was I tore the tire off of the back left wheel.
Okay.
And we needed to pop a spare on, which is fine because I had a spare. I drove home. That was the worst that happened.
That's
Got some paint
very
chips.
lucky.
It was so lucky.
That's the best possible off scenario is you blow a tire.
Yeah,
like,
that was it.
You could just break the fuck out of suspension components or roll. I mean, really catch
I thought
an
I was
edge and
gonna roll.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to roll. It didn't roll.
I mean, if you look at videos of crashes there, a great portion of them and result in rolls. We saw a fucking S2000 do an insane roll there once.
Recently?
No, this was years ago. Okay. But it was like, an in-person thing, not a video.
Yeah.
'Cause if you slide into the dirt sideways, you're just
done.
going to catch.
You're done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why that last turn is so.
Yeah. That's where the S2000
That's
crashed.
where the bravery comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't-
And not knowing not to turn down early.
Right.
It's like,
yeah. It's very late.
Yeah,
Very
I have
late.
to remind myself like every single lap, like wait. It's very nerve wracking.
I don't like that track. Every time there's a launch and they're like, we're doing Big Willow, I'm like, I'm driving slow.
Like I just
Not
don't find it
fucking
that
with that.
fun. I just
It's
like
too scary.
It's not like a fun place for me personally. It's not a fun place to drive a car. Streets of Willow, I think, is more fun.
And you said they just repaved it.
They did just
Did they?
repave it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it nice?
I haven't driven it, but I
Yeah,
seen the
Streets of
pictures.
Willow's got a proper carousel. It's got that fucking whole drift box where you can just fucking hang the tail out really nicely. It's
I
got-
bet they'll do more launches there now that the pavement's good, because it was really potholed before
Yeah.
and would just damage vehicles. But I think now with new pavement, like it's less risk for the OEM, and it's more fun for us. So it seems like it would just make sense.
And Button Willow is more fun too.
Yeah, I've actually never driven Button Willow.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Haven't
not
been up
pretty.
there. That's what I've seen
It's
in
not
the
pretty,
pictures.
but I mean Willow's not pretty either.
No, it's not.
It's not pretty, but it is a really fun place to drive a car. And if you go off there, it's like a softer dirt, and it makes an enormous dust cloud, but you're much less likely to have a
Okay.
roll. Yeah. There's a reason the Time Attack guys like it so much. You can really push the limit of the car in a way that doesn't feel like if you get it a little bit wrong that you're going to just completely destroy the car.
And they do a lot of motorcycle racing there, right?
Yeah.
Motorcycle
Yeah,
track
yeah.
days, yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do that at Big Willow.
They do, but
I know, but
shit. No. Have you done motorcycle track days?
no, I'm not. I don't know how to ride.
You don't?
No, haven't gotten. I keep thinking I need to get my, especially moving out here. It's just like
Yeah.
California,
How long have you been here?
4 years.
Yeah, well, it's time.
It's time.
And they have the Motorcycle Safety Foundation courses, which are great. I took
Yes,
those when I first
yes.
moved here, and they were so clutch.
Yeah.
They made it really easy. When you finish, you have a license, and then they pay you to come back. They pay you to come back and do a 6-month, 12-month, and 18-month refresher course. It's like $100.
Do you like use your skills? Do you ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rode here.
Oh, right. You were on a scooter.
I was on a
right.
scooter.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
rode here.
That's right.
Yeah. and I test motorcycle press bikes, if you could call it that. I'm certainly not like. I like to say that I'm experienced like a New York City cab driver is experienced,
There you go.
not like
There you
Michael
go.
Schumacher is experienced. So I don't like to push the limits of motorcycles. That scares me. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And I've seen, personally witnessed people going down on motorcycles, and it looks fucking horrible, and I don't want any part of that. But I really enjoy riding them. I really enjoy not sitting in traffic.
The lane splitting.
Lane splitting is
So
the shit.
key. So
yeah,
key.
and it's safer.
So when I see that happen, I'm not one of those people who's like, this is so dangerous. Like, I wish that I could do that. However, I personally would not trust the fact that someone's not going to just like wander into the path. Like
Sure.
sometimes they're inches away from those
Sure.
cars.
Well,
Not for me.
when you're lane splitting, when I'm lane splitting, I'm looking in people's mirrors. And I'm looking for any of those little signs. You know, like when people look over their shoulder to check the car moves a little bit. You know, you can see when they adjust their head to get a better view in the side. You can see that stuff, and so it's certainly not a perfect system. And I don't like. There's folks who lane split like, 70 when traffic is stopped. That ain't me. I like to keep my differential a little more regular.
That's fair.
Do what you're gonna do, but like, if you don't give yourself room to stop, if someone's gonna do that, you're gonna have a fucking bad day. But that is one of those things where, like, anecdotally it seems sketchy, but the data says that most of those car on bike crashes are rear endings and crushing you between a car at a red light. And so if you lane split to move yourself to the front of the line, it statistically reduces that possibility by like a lot.
The other thing is that literally everyone I know who rides has crashed.
Sure.
And, that's also an inevitability for cars. I guess if you go, I've never been in an accident myself, which I think is, but motorcycles, it's just,
well,
just
it's like,
happens.
it's one of those things that you can mitigate some of the risk by wearing the gear. Like, there's a lot of people who would get on that lime green Vespa that I ride, and like they would ride that shit in. I see them, shorts, flip flops.
Yeah,
they'd wear a helmet.
Yeah,
but
I saw a guy on the 10 doing 70 miles an hour
for
on a scooter,
sure,
flip flops and shorts.
Yeah,
the other
but
day.
I dress like I'm riding a proper motorcycle. I've got a jacket, I've got gloves, I've
All
got
the
a full
gear,
face
all
helmet.
the time.
Not all. I'm not wearing
No,
a
all
full
the time.
suit.
You don't need that, but like just something for this.
So like
Full face helmet at least.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And whenever I've seen people, again, anecdotal, but I've been like a first responder like 3 times in the last couple months as people have crashed in front of me.
You just happened to be
there. And the one dude who crashed, who was wearing all the gear, was back on a motorcycle like in 2 weeks. And the other 2 people I saw who were not, one of them was wearing like a fucking Nazi helmet and a tank top and had basically no skin remaining. And the other person was wearing a bucket hat and a hoodie, and they looked like they were fucked up. And I was like, okay, there are lessons here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The gear works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could happen. You could have a crash.
Would you buy a fast bike?
No.
No purpose.
I wouldn't. And I don't own any motorcycles. That scooter's all I own. And when I ride press bikes, they're not even like the fast stuff. They're like the kind of middle of the road, like urban shit.
You know what's wild?
It's a good skill to have, though.
I think so.
I have a motorcycle license. I did it as a stunt to get it. And it's exactly as you said. You go and you do the written classroom section, and then you go out and you ride for the afternoon. That's day 1, and then day 2 you come back and you basically do your practical exam.
Yeah.
And they give you a little piece of paper. You take it to the DMV. You take the DMV's motorcycle written exam. You pass that, and they stamp your license with M, and you're done.
Yeah.
And nothing is stopping me from going out that day and buying a liter bike and going home with it. Absolutely nothing. And that's what's scary about it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with a car. I mean, you get a license at 16. If you're a billionaire, nothing says you can't have a Pagani.
Nothing says that, but at least in my brain, there's more there's metal around you.
Sure.
I mean, that's correct. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, dude, our homie
in your brain. Like, well, yeah, also technically true.
Our homie was dating this chick, and she wanted to learn to ride. And she asked us, like, okay, I'm going to go get my license, and what bike should I buy? And she was like your size, maybe even smaller.
There's like no bikes that we...
Well, I was like, you want like a Ninja 250?
Yeah, like a 250 is good.
Yeah, she wanted a sport bike. I was like, Ninja 250, maybe a 300, something like that.
It's like 34 horsepower or something, the 250.
Yeah.
It's like under 50 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's great.
And she was like, no, I want a Gixxer 600.
No.
I was like, no, you don't. I was like, you on a 250 is the same power to weight as me on a 600, and I weigh more than twice what you weigh. The physics is fucked here. And she went out and bought a Gixxer 600, and in the very first week had a real bad fucking wreck.
Oh man,
That's sad.
Yeah.
Is she okay?
She's fine now. Now she broke up with our friend,
Okay.
and now she's like, stunt biker.
What?
Yeah, she's like her and her new man are like stunt biker people now.
That's cool.
I mean, I guess she got through it, but she probably should have started on the 300.
Probably, yeah.
She would be 6 months better at stunt biking.
Yeah.
Stunt biking like professional or stunt biking
No.
like going up 39?
No,
and-
like fucking Crenshaw on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, don't buy a really fast motorcycle to start with. That's a terrible idea. You're gonna have a fucking big one at a big speed, and even like slow bikes can be like, you could buy something with 50, 60 horsepower and tear fucking ass on it. You know?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fun. Those low power bikes, they're fun. They're really the light. You can flick them around. Like they're actually kind of great. Like I had my like weight trainer who I'm not working with anymore, but he bought a what the fuck was Nick riding?
Grom?
Not those are the best. I do recommend a Grom, but it was like I think it was a Ninja 300 or something. He bought used from somebody, and the thing it did like 85, so it could go on the highway, but like it weighed not even 200 pounds. I mean, it was so light that it was just it was really a good time.
Also, it's a nice starter bike. Get it used because people drop them all the time. Just get like a banged up one, learn how to ride it, and then you can trade up.
Best first motorcycle, let's say if you weigh over 150 pounds, is a Suzuki SV650, which has a nice V-twin. It makes about 80 horsepower, good torque. You don't have to run it to fucking 12,000 RPM, and they're like 350 pounds. You buy one for $4,500, and it's $4,500 forever. If it still runs.
It's a reliable Ducati Monster.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a slightly more comfortable Japanese Ducati Monster that's a little less aggressive. That was
looks
my
nice.
first motorcycle, and they were great. They just came out with a new one. So there's a new SV650 now.
It's a really popular bike.
Yeah.
It's a good first bike.
Yeah, I'd like to. We gotta figure out who runs their fleet. I want to try the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or scooters, dude. I cannot endorse my Vespa highly enough.
I'm a fan.
They're great.
Yeah.
And you got that cargo box on the back, so I can go get groceries and shit. It rules. Women like you.
Well, how long have you had it?
This one 2 years, but I had a 150 before that, and that's the new SV. Looks dope. That looks nice. I had a 150, and I started on a 50. My fat ass started on a 50cc Vespa, and I rode it for like 2.5 years.
got
It was
you there.
great. It was awesome.
Yeah,
really.
You showed up to one of our parties with your Vespa. I think you did. You were like, I scootered here.
When was that?
Was the Amazon party?
Where the fuck? Where in
It was
LA?
in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Hollywood on a Friday is the best use of a Vespa
Yeah.
because that's a miserable drive. You want to be on two wheels for
And
something
I think
like that.
it depending on your personality, like riding a Vespa is either a very interesting thing about you, and you're like, oh, that guy rides a Vespa. Wow, he can pull that off. Or it's like, that guy on the fucking Vespa. You know?
Well, but you can choose.
Yes,
You can
it
choose
is within
whether,
your power.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can use both at the same time. When you arrive, you're the interesting guy on a Vespa. when you're at the red light, it's let him go. He's on a Vespa. You know what I mean? I can look like I'm delivering Chinese food if I want, and it's like, oh, his life sucks. Just let him go. Don't. There's no like antagonism like there
It's
is
too
if you're-
friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, if
There's
someone's
a bit
like,
of a pity,
non-threatening.
there's a bit of
Yeah.
a pity thing. Yeah.
and if you're in a car and someone's next to you on one of those fucking like a Gixxer with a cut pipe, rah, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, fuck this asshole, you know, or like a Harley that just you're like, oh,
Shaking
come
the
on.
windows, yeah.
On the Vespa, it's like, just let him go, honey, just let him go.
He's not
That's so
bothering
true.
anybody.
I let Vespas go.
Yeah,
Like, just get in front of me. It's fine.
His life already sucks. Just let him go.
I don't think that. I'm like, look, he needs to get ahead.
Yeah.
Because his
Let
thing
me
is slow.
let me ask you: are those scooters in New York? What the hell are those mopeds? that you guys-
Revels.
Revels. Are
The
those still all
Revels?
over the place?
Yeah.
Do
Those
people
the rental ones,
the
right?
rental
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Hate them.
the same as our like
You're-
leave it on the street, pick
Yeah.
it up scooters,
Right.
except they're full like sit on
But
scooters.
do you,
Yeah.
do you need a
Whoa.
license to run a motorcycle license to rent those? See,
Nope.
that's silly.
It's kind of scary, and people
that seems
they
dangerous.
go in bike lanes with them, which is not okay, and they go really fast
Right.
in them. I've seen people go down like one way's the wrong way
Yeah.
with them.
Well, that's just riding Italian style.
Well, it's the same
Apparently-
thing with a fast e-bike, right? If you got a fast e-bike, you can be a cyclist, a pedestrian, or a car.
It's really up to your whatever
and
situation.
interchangeably. Like I have this vintage electric e-bike that goes really fast. It goes like almost 40. And
is fast.
it's really fucking fast. And straight up, no shame. If I want to be a bike right now, I'm a bike right now. If I want to be a motorcycle right now, I'm a motorcycle right now. I need to get up on the sidewalk. Well, fuck it. I'm a pedestrian now. And like, it's just how your mindset works.
They took him out of New York for a little bit last summer, I think, because there were 2 crashes that happened one after another. I think someone died in one of
even
them.
30 miles
Really
an
Not
hour.
sad.
shocking.
30
Yeah.
miles an hour is pretty fast.
And they come with a helmet. I've seen people ride with no helmet.
Of
which
course,
is the
who's going to
dumbest
share?
shit.
Who's going to
That's
share?
the other
grimy
thing.
ass
I wrote
helmet?
a whole story about this at Jalopnik. It's like, oh, Rebel's coming to New York. I was like, what's the helmet situation? They're like, oh, we just store it in the box and you can wear it. I was like, how often do you clean them? And she was like, every 3 days. I was like, yo, everyone get head socks.
Ew.
Here's the link to Amazon. Get some head socks for yourselves.
Every 3 days.
It's the only way they could probably get it insured. I mean, even then, it'd be really that's
right.
bold for them to be like, hey, we're going to rent these 30-mile-per-hour electric scooters. The insurance adjuster's like, what? Like, well, we'll give them helmets. Like, okay, sure. I mean, this is pretty dangerous.
And if they go in the cargo box, now you can't put your groceries in the cargo box if you have your own helmet. Like, because you could also have your own helmet. if you
I
wanted.
would rather walk than drive one of these things.
Have you tried one yet?
No, I'm not
Have
going
you
to
tried
try
one, Kyle?
I've been to New York since they introduced them.
I've seen them in other places besides New York. I forget where did I see them? Atlanta, I think. I've seen them in some other San Francisco, maybe.
That sounds
some
right.
other places, but like that's a little too much like a proper motorized
Yeah,
vehicle.
it is.
It is. I don't know whose idea it was, but they didn't. There was not a lot of foresight in like, people will kill themselves on this, or maybe they just don't care. You know, they have the risk adjuster being like, well,
They
you know,
signed the
you can get
waiver,
away
bro.
with this. They
What's the
signed this.
under-
The terms and conditions say that you may die if you download this app. You know,
I mean, look, the tech companies
It's,
are
buttoned up.
really offloading their responsibility onto
they've learned how.
the users.
They've gotten really good at it.
Yeah.
And now moving on
we're
to
just an
physical
app.
products.
We're just an app. We're a technology company.
We're just connecting you with
just
this moped. We didn't actually make it. You know.
It's funny because your name is actually on it. Well, you know, they put that there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I got to be careful. I enjoy the scooters, like the birds, the limes. Like as a solution, I understand when they first started, it was very problematic and a big issue with people just leaving them everywhere. But like in terms of a last mile solution, it's not the worst thing in the world. And in LA, it's been convenient.
I agree with you. I think it
numerous
also
occasions.
proves how terrible humans are.
Yeah.
Because people just kick them over, throw them wherever they want, and it's like, we can't have nice things because
Yeah.
it was a cool idea. Or it is a cool idea.
It is.
I live in a touristy area.
Oh, yeah,
And
so
so I
you're-
don't really know what it's like to live in a non-touristy area with bird scooters. Like, I bet bird scooters are great in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not shitting on Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a very nice place, but there's no tourists there. And so people are actually using them as last mile solutions where my experience is tourists being assholes on them.
Yeah, for sure.
And homeless people kicking over the whole fucking lines, and then drunk people throwing them in the ocean or the canals.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much been my experience. And they've come in handy occasionally. Like, if I have to go just a little further than I want to walk, they have come in handy. And like the scooters themselves have gotten better. Like the new scooters that are a little more durable
Yeah.
and can't be like completely destroyed.
Some of them have suspension in them.
Yeah.
now, yeah.
I like the wheels. Have you seen wheels?
No.
They're the ones that are like mini BMXs.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's those are my favorite because they're like not as you're not going to eat shit on one. Like people eat.
They have actual
fucking-
tires on them.
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
wheels of discs of rubber.
Yeah. My dad and I are going to this Audrain. There's the wheels. It has
got a
disc
seat,
brakes.
too.
It's got a seat.
Disc
yeah.
brakes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And actually, they have Bluetooth speakers on there, so you can Bluetooth your phone and play some music.
So you can be that guy.
You could be that guy.
Blasting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ugh, I was talking to Kristen when we were hanging out the other day. I played golf with my friend Corey. We played this beautiful golf course called Rustic Canyons. Lovely, lovely golf course. But whoever bought their newest golf carts fucked up.
Oh no.
Bluetooth speakers on golf carts. And we're behind this foursome. It was a busy Saturday. It was a very slow round, 5.5 hour round. And these 4 fucking middle-aged white dudes just had to bump Drake's new album at full volume from their fucking golf cart. Like, I don't have a problem with people rolling around on a bagger, bumping music, fucking rattling the license plate on the Suburban. Do whatever you want to do on the street. I don't give a fuck.
Listen, they're just living the life, you know?
On
Living
a
their
golf
truth.
course,
Yeah.
like, Jesus
pretty
fucking
bad.
Christ.
And you can't get away from them. You're stuck behind them.
You're
It's
stuck
not like you
behind
can
them for
change
18
lanes.
holes.
Right. Wow.
And these assholes would park the cart
And just let it play.
and let it play while they walked up to the green to fucking
my
putt.
God.
It's really
It
obnoxious.
drove me
I would-
absolutely batshit. And it's not even their fault. The course provided them this technology.
Well, that's a very generous way of looking at it.
That really is.
That's
You
not
said
their
that. I was
fault.
like,
They can't help themselves. It's just.
we should know that people can't help
I guess
themselves.
so. I
We
guess
need
that's true.
technology. We need what we would call an engineering solution so that people who can't help themselves have no choice but to help themselves.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But yeah, on the wheels
Were
they
they,
have
were
them
they
too.
electric or gas carts?
They are electric
Yeah,
cars.
because that's what they are now.
And we played, we got it was like a 2:00 tee time, so our cart was on its second loop. The last 3 holes, it was really struggling. They're the DC motors, so they slow
down.
down
Yeah,
over
yeah,
time.
yeah.
We're like, oh my God, we're on the 16th hole. It's like really struggling up this hill. Like,
We're
please
gonna have to
fucking
push
make
it.
My old man and I are going to Newport for the Audrain Concourse this
nice.
coming weekend.
Yeah.
And we're staying in Newport Harbor, and everything is like a half a mile to a mile away. So we bought 2 bird scooters.
Really?
Like private, like ones that are, not, you could just buy them. They're just yours. And we're
putting
gonna
Roger on a scooter.
Yes, we're gonna try this. We're gonna attempt to have Roger riding around a very old city on a bird scooter, and that's gonna be our thing.
I
We're gonna
actually
try it.
have a couple of decommissioned Lime scooters
Really?
in my back shed.
Yeah.
That my father-in-law found.
Now define decommissioned.
Well, they're not on Lime's radar anymore, and the
that's very
battery is a little fucked up from being released from its constraints.
Yeah.
But now I have a scooter that I can drive. I can ride to the grocery store and leave it there, and no one can take it because it doesn't
It's
show
just
up
not-
on there.
Can
you take
it's
the-
off the grid. It's
That's
an
funny. You
off-the-grid
don't have
Lime
to lock
scooter.
it up.
And it's
People
still
just
got,
trying to fucking
yeah,
take it.
and it's still
Like,
got all the livery, right? It's still got the Lime. Press $1 to ride or something.
But then
on
the danger is that
kickboard.
someone who charges the Limes will come and pick it up along with the other ones.
Or one of the angry people will throw it in the LA
Right.
River.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those are my risks. But for now, it's a convenient solution.
I'm bringing a kryptonite lock also. I don't know what else to do. I just bring in a kryptonite lock, and we're
Yeah.
gonna try and ride these fucking things around Newport.
Do it. I mean, how do you even lock up a scooter?
I mean, there are.
You wrap it around the handle, I guess, and make it so it doesn't.
I'm not really sure. Like, I looked up an article that was like how to lock up a scooter.
Yeah.
And there are some scooter-specific locks.
that makes
And then they
sense.
also were just like, bring a fucking cable lock. So
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna bring a cable lock.
Fast and loose. You're gonna play this.
I hope that I don't regret this decision.
It'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll
Can
be
you
fine.
take a picture of Roger riding the
Yes.
scooter?
I got Roger to ride a Vespa in Italy, and I have the picture at my house, and it's great. He's wearing the dorkiest looking helmet, and he really enjoyed himself. It was good. It was nice.
Good for Roger.
It pissed rain on us in the middle of this ride, and so we're riding around Ischia, this Italian island, and just getting super, super soaked. But it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys missed a trip in Italy. I know.
The Bentley
busy.
Sicily trip.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
missed
Everybody went on that one. How is
Apparently.
that? How is Is it the Speed?
Yes.
It's the GTC Speed,
GT
right?
Speed.
GT Speed. So give us the lowdown on the GT Speed.
The lowdown is it has a slightly more powerful twin turbocharged W12 engine. The interior is really nice. The big takeaway from that is that car likes to drift, and it's really fun to throw around a corner because it weighs like 5,300 pounds. So like you start in the corner and then you just give it more gas and the whole thing kind of like leans forward, but then the ass comes out and it's super controllable because the wheelbase is so long.
Doesn't it have rear steer also?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has rear steering. So that helped too. And the way that I found this out was because Bentley did this crazy thing where they found an abandoned military base in Sicily and like cleared out all of the brush and built a closed course on it.
Fun.
And let us drive through at whatever speed we wanted.
Oh, well, that's
Which
good.
was
That's
super,
very
like,
un-Bentley.
It was extremely un-Bentley. And
Oh.
on the invite, they were like, we're going to take you to a secret location where you can go as fast as you want. I was like, why are you being all cagey about this? Like, did you run a
Just
racetrack
go
or
to the
some
test
shit?
drives section on the
Because
homepage.
it's just they didn't get permits.
So we showed up.
View all in test drives.
Oh, you-
our search
Kyle's gotta tell
functionality.
us how to-
Our search functionality is not good. I'm not saying that anything that no one knows.
I didn't want to say it.
It's terrible. It's terrible. So
but yeah,
most
that's
of
the
the
story.
yeah,
How
we'll
Bentley
get into the tech
turned an
issues later.
abandoned military base into a performance car proving ground. Oh wow, that looks real cool. That photo.
It's so cool. The whole thing is abandoned, and I was following the car's nav, and it had me turn down this lonely road next to the airport, and then it opens up into a police booth with wire, like chain link fence and barbed wire. I was like,
There it is.
It's got to be that's the gate.
There
I was
it
like,
is.
that's got to be the wrong turn. But then they waved
Was that a
us.
panda in that second picture?
Yeah.
Is that a burned out Fiat Panda with a sign on it?
Yes. I don't know why it was there. But they waved me through. There was all this Bentley signage, and you're driving through this abandoned military base that was built in the 30s and was used by the Axis powers, and the Luftwaffe flew out of it during World War II. And then it was bombed by the Allies and taken over in 42.
So it's a just world, is what you're saying.
It's just world. And
Everything
the
worked out.
English took it back.
Everything worked out.
They stored nukes there during the Cold War, and they like opened one of the like blast doors in the bunker, and so I drove into it, looked at the fucking bunker, and I was talking to one of the guys who put the program together, and I was like, what were some of the challenges like making a closed course in an abandoned military base? And he was like, well, we wanted to open the other door on the other side of the bunker so you guys could drive through it, but it's like 50 tons of steel, like all these hydraulically actuated, hinges, whatever. And we called someone at the Pentagon to figure out how to open it, and trying to open it would involve flying a team of like engineers from the U.S. to basically redo the entire thing so we could open the door. So it was too much and we couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we concluded that no one actually gives a shit that much. Yeah.
It would have been cool to drive through the
I
bunker.
mean, they have a
Is
lot
that
of
the
money.
one side of the bunker in that photo?
Yeah.
Looks like a Star Wars scene.
The money must be spent.
Right. I mean, there's kind of a lack of social awareness to put that Piazza de Bentley sign on the burned out Fiat Panda.
Oh, I feel like that was
still.
that was an intentional choice.
No, it was definitely
course
an
it was.
Yeah,
intentional
they were like,
choice.
this is gonna look cool.
Yeah.
This is gonna
She
look
will take a
sweet.
picture of this
Yeah.
and post it on Instagram.
These are all Bentley's photos. I did not
Oh,
have
are
a
they?
chance. Yeah, I did not have a chance to take many pictures there because it
That
was like
looks-
a very in and
it's
out
artsy.
situation. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, it is cool that they like made
Yeah.
a racetrack. It's very like Top Gear.
It
of
is.
them.
Someone tell Ken Block about this place.
Oh, there's the overhead. Let's the base is south of the runway. Oh, cool. That's
you can see it,
bitchin'.
and that's
Did you
an
get to fuck around
actual-
on the runway, or is that a functional runway?
It's a functional runway.
Okay.
They turned the north half of it into an actual functioning airport, but everything south of that has been untouched. And because it is guarded, it's abandoned but not vandalized. So nothing's been broken. There's no graffiti or anything. It just looks like everyone left and no one came back. That's what it looks like.
It's kind of cool.
It was
It's
really
very
cool.
cool.
Sicily is sweet.
Sicily is sweet.
Yeah.
It's nice. I saw like one day of it.
Yeah, well, that's how we see places. From
It's just like
from the
snapshots.
driver's seat of a car at 70 miles an
Yes.
hour. That's
Yep.
how we see places. So what else about the car other than you can slide it?
It's really comfortable. It was really nice to drive with the top down because I had just finished fucking around with the 718 Spider manual top. Still traumatized from that. So now any nice convertible top that you can just push a button and it comes up, it goes down. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, that spider top's not that bad.
No, it is that bad.
You just have to clip the little things. You have to
When
spin
you're
them
one
around.
person holding a phone trying to record it and then you don't know what you're doing,
No, well, that's a journalist problem.
It is a
That's
journalist
That's
Yeah,
not a user
true.
problem.
I acknowledged that in the story. I was like, this is definitely a me problem. And if I had a friend and more practice, it would be fine.
When I got the Spider press car, someone had to show me how to do it.
I had to watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, someone showed me how to do it, and then once I figured it out, or once I was shown, it was 45 seconds. That's how long it took.
Still a long time.
Still a long time.
Still a long time.
I mean, okay, but it's not like it's not that
I know
bad.
it's not fair to expect the
Kristen needs
Miata
that.
solution where
Yeah.
it's literally that, but it was a lot.
It's 45 seconds.
Oh, wow.
But you have
It's
but
me.
you have to get out of the car. Like that includes time to get out and like walk around
true,
to the
true.
other side of the car.
Yes. True,
It's not like you're sitting in the car and it's 45 seconds. That's a long time if you're sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice
But it's
when
the
it does it.
Spider. I understand. The
Yeah, it's
Bentley,
part of the
Bentley top
experience.
probably weighs 300 pounds.
Probably.
More than that, I would
don't know.
Probably like
imagine.
7 layers.
But what else is there to say about the Bentley other than it's a really, really nice place to park your ass for 2 hours in watching the countryside go by. Air
Sounds
blows
good.
cold.
Isn't it? Isn't this the
Thankfully.
last 12?
It might
The
be.
last Bentley 12? I think.
It might be. They're the only ones that use the 12. The Audis don't use them anymore.
The W12.
Yeah, the
W12,
W12.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
I
might
mean,
be.
it's also kind of like a little bit good riddance. The 12, like I don't think the W12 is that great. I'm not.
It doesn't
that,
sound
agree.
good.
Doesn't
that's for
sound
sure.
that good.
It's just a big, powerful, like meaty engine with not that much character.
But now the twin turbo V8 is basically as powerful. It
Yeah.
has basically as much torque.
And it's
and
more
it feels
efficient.
lighter on its
right?
feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds better. Yeah.
There's no reason to have a W12.
No, I agree.
It's not like you're experiencing the sound
No.
in the cabin anyway.
No.
So
It sounds like plumbing.
It does.
yeah,
think-
hot water, the hot water pipe in the
Yeah.
ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
It's a quieter Camry, which no one's ever really complained about. It's just two of those next to each other, accelerating at parallel.
You know, it's
Yeah.
funny, like we pulled up here with a Camry engine, and it's funny that you say that because I'm like, that is true. The Lotus is a Camry engine.
I have a W12 engine block coffee table in there.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I made an exhaust video of the GT Speed. I was like,
Not even going to air this.
no, I posted it. I'm like, the readers need to get the full experience, and this is part of the full experience.
Full experiences.
It's a windy day in England.
I've
That's what
never
it
heard
sounds like.
someone to put like a fucking crazy exhaust on one of those. Like,
They must make one, right?
Somebody-
Maybe
has
the
made
race car,
one.
or is the race car a V8, like the Pikes
race
Peak
cars
car?
are 8.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're the 8.
Yeah, they don't even put the 12 in the race cars.
Because it's I don't think you can make it do
Let's
race
see.
car things.
Here's a Fab Speed resonator. Oh my god, a Capristo for a Bentayga is $8,500. Fabs, do we have some volume here? Let's see. Let's see what we got going on. Do we have stock exhaust? I don't hear anything. That sounds right.
Oh.
Oh, there we
wait.
go.
Stock exhaust? Oh, that sounds interesting. Hit again. Well,
Oh.
it's better.
It's better, but the character isn't enough for me to be like, that's. I
Now it
need
just
to
sounds
have
like a
that.
V8.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
it sounds like a
peak
V8.
anywhere. It just
Right.
kind of like hills.
Resonator bypass X pipe. I mean, it definitely sounds more aggressive.
It sounds
it's
a
not
little
a
like
great-
the Chiron, actually.
It
There's
does.
kind
It
of
does.
deep rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Oh, the
drive-by.
flyby's not good.
I
Not
don't
so
like the
good.
drive-by. It's a little nasally.
It's a little
then.
it's V6-ish.
And this is not, I don't think this is a critique of, no, that's not
Nope.
good at all. And I don't think that's a critique of Fab Speed specifically.
Well, that was the stock one.
That was stock?
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
stock
that was
one.
stock? Let's see this. No.
It's just loud.
No, that's not a good
It sounds
sound.
like two quiet
I don't really
GTRs.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't like
Here we
it.
go. Fab speed.
And I also
flyby.
I also feel like it would kind of suck if you had a super loud Bentley. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I want the tone, but not the volume. You
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
That was day class A.
know? Why don't they have Bentley and Rolls-Royce should really be further on the electric train than they are, right?
They're doing some hybrid stuff. Like there's a hybrid Bentayga now. I think there's a hybrid Mulsanne.
Really?
I think. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember.
That sounds accurate.
There's a hybrid
Or there will be
Mulsanne?
soon.
Oh, there really?
My take on any manufacturer in this echelon, it's like, morally maybe they should be doing more on electric. They should be further on electric, but like their clients, their market is not that yet. And
Well,
so
Rolls-Royce, I feel like.
Rolls-Royce, the silence, I mean, that
makes so
that
much
could do a
sense.
lot.
Yeah.
But also, like, Rolls-Royce people are, very set in their ways, I'm imagining, and they have a business case to keep making the V12, and they have V8s and shit, too.
Rolls-Royce?
Yeah.
They have a V8 option.
Do they have a V8?
I think. Do they have a V8? I have never driven a
No.
Rolls.
The Ghost is a 12.
Oh.
The Phantom is a 12. Yeah, they're all 12s.
All right, so, like, they should just keep making the 12 until, like, they literally cannot anymore.
But like a Phantom or a Cullinan is like already 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's like road tripping those.
Yeah.
They're all kind of for like local and and everyone has a garage who's got one of those. It just to me makes such
It
logical
makes a lot of sense. Well,
Yeah.
Logic and buying a Rolls-Royce, they're not necessarily hand in hand.
I feel like maybe some of those people want to like posture like they're being green as well. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
It could be.
Well, it says Bentley will offer hybrid options for all models by 2023.
Let's see if they make that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because that was a press release from a year and a half ago, so we'll see.
Well, some
Oh, January 14th, 2020.
It says Mulsanne
Everything is
production
the
to
same
end in spring
that it was
2020.
then.
Bentley could really update their website, maybe. That announcement is from January 2020. Something tells me their schedule might have been moved by something.
Impacted by.
Impacted
Because
by
of the
something.
ease of supply, we will be rolling this out.
Also, I always love that their head of PR is named Wayne Bruce.
I know.
He used to be McLaren, right? He was
So
McLaren, ex-McLaren.
Hi, Wayne. We're not making fun of your name. It's great.
Last night I saw Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder was like, "It's really weird. We have like brand new music we wrote 2 years ago and have never played. Here's a brand new song we've never played live. We wrote 2 years ago." Yeah, I wonder what interrupted the production line there. We've got some questions from the people from the Patreon. If you want to ask your questions in future shows, you must be a patron over at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. You will also get to not wait till Tuesday, Thursdays. You can not listen to me, listen to ads. And later tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, Zach and I are doing the exclusive Pro Driver podcast, which is the 9th show, the extra show we're going to do every month for our Pro Driver level patrons. I think most of our patrons are Pro Drivers, right?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people convert up.
Really?
Yeah.
Should we just eliminate the lower ones? No. Okay, fine.
I like those icons, by the way.
Those icons
Nice touch.
were supposed to be very small, and they're much bigger.
I
on
like
the
them.
screen, right?
They were supposed to be used for a different platform, for YouTube memberships, which requires super small icons. We got these made, and then after setting up both systems, realized how terrible YouTube memberships was, so we threw that in the bucket, and then we use the icons for this.
I feel like we could have that guy make higher res icons now.
No. I like them.
You like them
Yeah,
being
yeah.
8-bit?
They
8-bit touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fine.
Nostalgia.
We'll stick with 8-bit.
Yes.
Okay. So all of our questions come exclusively from our Patreon. That's the end of my plug.
Very
Prashanth says, Kristen, as a fellow Asian American, I think the official vehicle of upwardly mobile Asian American families is the first-gen Acura MDX. Thoughts?
That's funny that they say that because our first SUV was a 2000 Lexus RX 300, which I'm pretty sure
I
is
think
the
I'm with you.
MDX equivalent, but it's around that, I think.
My objective analysis says that RX 300 is the official vehicle of upwardly mobile Asian families.
Yeah,
For sure.
It was good. Good
Also,
car.
I appreciate the RX 300 much more now than
Yeah.
I did then.
I write about this thing any opportunity I get. It's good design. It was like actually not that big.
It was built so well.
Yeah, they're
So
still
well.
running.
My mom was the RX 300 queen of Greenwich, Connecticut. She had 5 of them concurrently at once.
Why?
Because they didn't break, so she would just keep them in the family. So, like, she personally had, like, she would send them to their vacation house where they'd go to retirement. And then, you know, she gave one to my little sister. She gave one to their housekeeper. So they're all still around. So my little cousin got married a couple, last month in New York. Her RX 300, that was my mom's first one, the 98, still has under 100,000 miles on it.
Still ticking.
It got flooded in Irma.
Oh, no.
Nope, still alive.
Wow.
Don't worry. They dried that bitch out. It's good to go. Still going.
Are you guys also
That's
upwardly
amazing.
mobile Asian American family? Because it sounds like you are, but times
Jews.
5.
Also Jews. The second best market, Jewish Racing Gold RX 300. Yeah, the MDX first gen, though, really nice vehicle.
Didn't that one come with a manual?
surprisingly so.
No, okay.
No.
I'm thinking about another car.
But that was like a really good truck.
Yeah.
I still see them around a lot.
Solid design.
Yeah, really solid design. Let's see. Dominic Manastra. Your thoughts on keeping a car that you love forever versus consistently trading into different cars to experience as many as possible, assuming you're not in a position to amass an entire collection. As a young enthusiast, I'm lucky to be able to own my, quote, attainable dream car and would love to keep it forever. On the other side of the coin, I want to experience as many fun, fast, and interesting cars as possible. Thoughts?
We're the wrong people to ask because we drive different cars all the time. That scratches the itch more often than I want. I turn down cars now. I'm a piece of shit.
No, you just only have so much time to
I just
focus
have
on
so
certain
much
cars.
time. I'm going to keep my car forever because
Are
it's
you?
been my family forever. I got the rust fixed, so it's no longer going to have the doors rust off, and I'm just going to keep taking care of it because that's my car, and I like knowing everything about it because also I have this ridiculous job that affords me the opportunity to drive literally anything I want at any time.
I think it depends on your budget, really. But like for me, the Blazer, I'm keeping that forever, right? And I've already decided that. So in my head, it's like that garage space is taken, and then that will be what I keep for a long time. And if I'm currently saving up for a new car, and hopefully, like I will continue to cycle out that car to get get my kicks. But like Kristen said, it's really shitty. But we work in a job where we get to drive.
It is what
a lot
it
of
is.
new cars. It is what it is, and so like there isn't.
That's the gig.
Like in terms of, I think doing one car you keep forever and one car that you're cycling out if you're not doing a collection would probably be the.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
Yeah.
I used to say things like forever, and then I realized the kind of pressure that put on myself.
Yeah.
And others, I would tell other people forever, and then I was like, but
I don't.
But what if I don't
change
actually?
my mind?
Yeah, now I have to keep this up because I said forever. So I don't like to say forever.
Matt's wife is listening intently.
I had that I had a C5 Corvette for 16 years, and I thought I would keep it forever. And then I got kind of tired of it, honestly. I mean, and so I got rid of it, and I don't really miss it. And so I think you should keep a car
as long as it makes you happy.
Until it no longer makes you happy. And if it no longer makes you happy, it's okay to let it go. You know, it's not. I know folks who have let cars go, and then 20 years later, like, oh, I want to find it again. Like, if that happens, so be it. But like, if you're interested in having a bunch of different experiences and you're not doing the job that we do, then keep the car until you're tired of it and then move on to another one.
Yeah, and I would also, it's important to not feel like you're boxed into a decision you've made.
Yeah.
And you're not accountable to anybody else. If you post on social media, you talk to your friends about fucking whatever. Like, change your mind. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally okay.
It's a car.
Yeah, it's a car, exactly. It's a piece of metal.
Cy Turner wants to know, have any of us ever driven iconic 90s or 2000s French hot hatches like Renault Sport Clios, Megans, etc., Peugeot 106 Rally, Peugeot... Anyone driven any French?
Nope.
Well, we did recently publish a review of the Renault Turbo 5.
Yes.
From the 80s.
Oh.
I don't remember what year it was.
Is that like that's not the R5 Turbo 2?
Not the R5
No.
Turbo
No.
2, but it is like the Rally homologation one from the 80s.
Where engine is in the front.
Engine is in
the rear.
In the middle.
In the middle.
Oh,
middle.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In the middle.
It was our writer Victoria. Neither of us got to drive it, unfortunately, but she was not a big
She
fan
didn't
of it.
like it. She
It was
did not
like kind
it.
of slow and loud and not that exciting to drive.
And she said it was just impossible to sit in.
Just
Yes.
uncomfortable?
Yeah, just like badly thought out, can't see the gauges, hot.
Sounds very French.
Yeah, right?
So I wish I could weigh in on the. He already deleted the question. I wish I could weigh in on the '90s ones, but no, haven't had the experience yet.
I drove like a 2019 Renault Sport. It was a Megane RS 260 at the Nürburgring. It was a Nürburgring car.
How? Why? What
It was literally a rental Nürburgring car.
Oh, okay.
From RSR
That's
Nürburgring.
cute.
And it's basically it was like a Focus ST. I kind of was expecting it to be better than a Focus ST, but it really wasn't. It was really an awful lot like a Focus ST.
Yeah.
I know their very best French shit is awesome. Chris Harris loves his Peugeot 106 or whatever the fuck it is. But my
Of course he
experience
has
is limited.
I've never driven the 306 GTI 6, but I like the way it looks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice, Cy.
All right, Robert Taft. Jaguar F-Type R or Lexus LC 500, and if LC 500, coupe or convertible. I live in Florida.
This really a question?
LC
LC 500 convertible,
1,000%.
all the fucking way.
Yeah.
I mean, that engine
Yeah.
is a future classic right there.
Looks like a
Looks
concept
like
car.
a concept car, naturally aspirated V8, top down so you can hear it.
Yeah.
There's
Done.
no
That's
other.
almost the perfect GT car.
I would say so.
They're very,
Yeah.
very
and
exceptional.
despite thin seats, very comfortable.
They're really
Good
well
cruiser.
made.
Very,
Yeah.
very well made, very solid on the inside. The F-Type,
The F-Type
you
is
know, it feels like a Land Rover sports car to me. it has the same. The steering is the same, numb. You can't feel anything. It has this rattles in the same places in the cabin. I feel like from the back window, there's like a weird rattle over bumps, right? And it didn't. It's the same engine, right? It's the same 5-liter supercharged thing they put in everything. So
Yeah.
it doesn't.
It's a Ford engine. It's a Coyote.
It didn't feel unique to me.
It's a little better than Coyote.
Yeah, they did stuff to it, but
It's a little different.
It sounds great. It sounds great. I will say it sounds great. But in terms of actual driving experience and then the whole package, the LC 500.
The R's are
Not a
very
question.
stiff to me.
Yeah.
My favorite
Very
F-Type
busy.
is the V6S Coupe manual. Those are really
Didn't get to drive that
underappreciated.
one.
It uses the GetTrack 6-speed that
When
the
did they stop making
BMW
that?
M3 uses.
I think they stopped making that like 2 years
19,
ago.
maybe
Yeah.
17, 18, 19. I think is all
Early-
they made it.
early in my
They're like
time.
35 grand, and it's like a great $35,000 car. You know what I mean? As an alternative to an M4 maybe, or as an alternative to something like that. You don't see them, and they are pretty cool. But the R's are really stiff.
And it also pre-facelift, it looked way better. I think. I don't.
The facelift.
Oh, you
is
don't
not
like the
good.
I'm not a
facelift?
fan
No.
of the facelift.
No.
It's a little.
I like how the facelift drove. We got one to drive, and I thought they had done some nice things with it, although I didn't love the new headlights.
Yeah, the new
I
headlights
don't
are
like
kind
the
of
new
boring.
headlights.
Hunter Sands, do we like the on-demand online magazine that the intercooler is doing, and will others begin to copy that format?
Oh, we're getting into business.
Biznet, what do you guys think? Because you're in that business.
Well, I mean, to each their own, right? Like, if it works and you have the readers to support that model, that's awesome. And I think that you do generally get more. I don't want to say more special content, but like when you are not beholden to ads, you can stretch the boundaries a little bit more. You can do more. You can be voicier. You can build a brand, I think, a little bit easier. But I think the future is a mixture of, like what we're doing here, where you have some paid support from like a core group of fans, but you also have a free version that lives out there. I mean, we're not in any point where we're about to institute a paywall on the drive, but we have had comments from readers that like, I would pay for this. And it's like, well, we'll talk about that
Yeah.
down the line. And it's not like we would ever, detract from what we're doing on the site in order to make this premium product that would only be for a select group of people. But I think that there is that's the future, because ads are not going to be, this whole ad business is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And all built on a house of cards, it seems, that Google is like getting ready to just blow the fuck down. So I think that the future is going to involve subscriptions for everybody, no matter really who you are. So
Yeah.
it's a good
And
model.
I enjoy. I subscribe to the intercooler. I like it because, like you said, they're not beholden to anything. So I feel like they're giving me a lot of content that I don't see in other places, and I like that there's a manageable amount of content made. Like they put out 1 or 2 articles a day at the most, and I can actually consume that. But I know that like websites like yours or anything else, you have so many numbers to hit. You have to put out so much stuff per day, and it has to have ads on top of it, and it almost makes it like difficult as a consumer to try to read everything.
That's the goal, is to become essential reading for somebody, right? Whatever that means for that person, the goal is to be that like daily thing for them. And it is harder, to your point, when you have 12, 13 stories that you're trying to put out the door, and you're trying to be on the record on all these pieces because you are, a site that people read, so you want to hit the bases and not feel like you're not part of the conversation. But when you're just making your own conversation, it's a little bit simpler.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm like, the thing that I've really enjoyed paying for is the high quality print books, the quarterlies. I read the Road Rat out of England, and I'm happy to pay whatever it is, $60 a year for that, to get 4 magazines. I like what they've done with Road and Track's new print model. I think that letting the photography breathe a little bit,
For sure.
and having something that feels nice and hefty in your hands, that I want to leave out on my coffee table, for my customers to read and whatever. I've enjoyed that. I love everyone who's writing at the Intercooler. I think they're really good writers and good people. And it's a great Instagram follow, too, if you want quick, easy, digestible stuff. Fez, how does the sound compare between the V8 in the IS500 and the V8 in the E90 M3? Does the high red line in the M3 add a substantial amount of motorsport theater, if any?
It has been a while since I've been in an E90 M3. Definitely the lower red line is noticeable in the IS500, and it feels like there should be more there at the top, and it's just not. But it's naturally aspirated. It was the V8 and the E90 naturally aspirated? Yeah, so like, I don't know. The IS500 sounds like a lot of the other Lexus products. Is the M3 felt a little angrier and sounded a little angrier, I think. Because the IS500, sorry to cut you off, the IS500 is also not the full F.
Right.
So it is not supposed to be as
It's not supposed to be
theatrical.
motorsporty.
Yeah.
But like, I think you get a lot more torque. The E90 M3 has like no torque.
There's also
Right.
a full
Rev
liter
the
on it.
Yeah, it's 0.6 of a liter.
0.6? Is it 0.6? Because it
Yeah,
was
it's 4 point. Is it 4.0?
No, it
Oh,
was
it's
a
4.0.
4.0.
It's
Yeah,
4.0. So it is a full
I think
liter.
the
You're right.
GTS was the 4.4.
Yes.
So it's so
I guess
not 4.4. Is it a 4.0 or 4.4?
I think the.
Is it a 4 liter?
It's been so long.
It's
Heard
been
you
a
love
while
Nick.
since I've thought about this.
4.
4.0. Sorry.
Did you write this list, Kristen?
But
I don't think so.
Is it more? Yeah. Is it more motorsport theater? Yes, I think so.
It sounds a little. It's the IS 500 is a little more resonant and mellow, and it's not as just like angry.
When it comes on cam and goes, whoa,
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's above 4.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Did you drive the IS 500?
I did.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I thought that in regular comfort mode, it was lazy.
The transmission was
It was lazy.
big bummer.
And then when I put it in manual and sport mode and went to use the paddles, I thought it was the amount of response that I was expecting from that car. It was clearly not a full F product.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a nice little sleeper, and the engine, when I had control over it with the paddles, did what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cheap for what it is.
Yeah, I thought it
Starts
was
at
like 80 and it was
yeah.
starting at 50.
Wait,
Yeah.
it starts at 50?
57.
50,
Whoa.
Yeah, I drove it before pricing was announced, and I was like, oh, this is going to be like 70 grand, something
Yeah.
like that. And it's 57. And I was like, oh, actually, that's a lot of car.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We've got Phil Plummer. Did you see how Elon is ruining astronomy with the satellites? Yeah,
Off the wall.
there's
I did. I went up to when the comet was around last summer. I went up to that ridge above Santa Barbara, and that's a good dark sky area. And that's the first time I've been to a real dark sky place in a couple years. And you could see like lots of Starlink satellites moving in chains across the night sky.
How did you know they were Starlink satellites?
Well, isn't that the thing that they're like there's like they run in like groups of 6 or 7, and they're these little dots that are just following each other across the sky.
Oh.
It's like Christmas lights. You know, they're
Oh,
moving.
really?
It's like
It's like a
6.
string
yeah,
of them?
In, in
Yeah,
a
it's
line,
a string
in
of
a line,
them
line.
moving in a
Oh.
line. Yeah.
Oh.
And I counted at least 5 or 6 groups of them in the hour I was up there.
I've read about it, but I haven't like gone somewhere to see it.
It was
I could see
noticeable.
how that could be annoying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just like trying to get a photo.
Then
I don't want to. Oh, is that really what it fucking looks like?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
terrible. I wonder. I don't want to unnecessarily shit on Elon. I want to shit on Elon where he deserves it.
Yes.
Could there be a benefit to humanity that outweighs the negatives for astronomy?
I don't know enough to answer that question.
Me
I would
either.
imagine probably if there was more like group thought involved in like what
Right.
their ambitions are for
Right,
this.
right.
If it was more of a collective endeavor.
Right. That's the same thing. It's like Elon's very good at doublespeak. He's very good at saying, well, we just want to move electric vehicles forward for everybody. And behind the scenes, as I read in Tim Higgins' book, as well as I read the Road Rat article with I was worried that Jamie Kipman wrote a piece for the Road Rat called "Elon Just Doesn't Give a Fuck," and I was worried, having just read the cover and not the article, that was meant as a positive. As it turns out, having read the article, it shows both sides of it well, but it gets a little bit something the mainstream media does, where it goes, here's the good and here's the bad, and you decide for yourself, as if they're equal. Whereas, in my opinion, the bad was far worse than the good.
Dredging up my past.
Yeah, and one of the things that they talk about is this thing where he says, well, I want to do a full everyone transition to EVs, and behind the scenes they were finding ways to push the legacy automakers out of developing their EVs by saying, well, why would you develop your own EVs? Just buy the green credits from us. In a set, which resulted in them getting a massive leap forward in the EV market and catching everyone else on their back foot. And so the actions didn't match the words. So.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't only recently that they were making a profit on their cars alone and not just the sales of the credits.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nate Lincoln, take your best stab at when the used car market is going to settle and normalize.
Next spring.
when the new car market settles and normalizes.
I would
You
say
think?
next spring probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the chip thing gets sorted
Yeah,
out.
because
Yeah.
the chip thing is slowly improving, but we are now also entering like the new model year, and there's going to be a lot of, I think, unforeseen hiccups with all those cars coming out. And the used car, like she said, the used car market, when the new car market stabilizes, and that'll probably be next spring.
Yeah, I mean, used car values go up when people can't buy the new car values, the new cars that they want because inventory or ADM or whatever.
And I'm one of those people who was like thinking about getting a new car and thought about it last year and didn't like use that 2-month window where you could get 0% financing for 10 years and like get whatever deal you wanted. And now it's just there's really is nothing out there. And
now
even like
Bronco's $100 grand.
CPO cars are impossible to find.
Yeah.
It's just bare out there.
The
cupboards are bare.
I'm about to get into this myself because we need to buy a shop truck, and so I'm actually going to be like regular old consumer, being like, what half-ton pickup truck am I going to buy for the shop?
Half-ton?
You might be in luck, though. When I was at the Ford dealership in Colorado, because our camera car broke, the only trucks they had on the lot there were like for commercial use,
Like
like
work
spec.
white pickup trucks
Yeah.
with whatever
Yeah,
options.
I genuinely don't know what I'm going to buy. I want.
This is an interesting test case.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to.
The
I want to
uncertain
buy
pickup
probably
buyer.
a half-ton.
Yeah.
We're gonna tow a single car trailer with it, but really only locally.
That's enough.
And but I have to look a little further into it. There might actually this sucks. I hope this isn't the case, but there might be tax incentives for me to buy
an HT. Yeah.
Which I don't want that to be the case. I don't want to have to buy way more than I need in some giant fucking diesel and have that be cheaper than buying the minimum thing that I need for the use, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think that
Our government's really good at that. Really good at that.
yeah,
It's a specialty.
Mr. Nailhead, if Kristen bought a Mach E, would she add a bunch of extra E badges so it could be your Mach E?
Absolutely. Next
100%.
question.
Yes. Vincent Lee has a BMW M240i manual.
It's a great car.
Considering a KW V1 suspension kit for the car for some adjustability and potentially to soften it from stock. Is this a yay or nay from TST crew? I think probably yay.
Well, I would say yay in terms of the adjustability. I am a big fan of overpowered, not even overpowered, but like too soft suspension.
Yeah.
Like when you can adjust everything independently, comfort suspension and sport engine mode is my preferred
That's
balance.
That's the
Me
one.
too.
I like to feel a little bit of the motion in
Me
the body,
too.
so
Does an M240i have adaptive suspension?
it's probably an
I don't think
option.
It does.
I think it might be optional.
Yeah.
I drove it a few years ago. Lovely car.
If you have an older one that doesn't have an adaptive suspension, and your goal is to use the KWs to make it softer than stock, I would say yes, that's probably good. If you've got the adaptive suspension, a KW V1 might not give you much.
Yeah.
But
But
in
you
general,
could change the springs and you could keep the adaptive dampers.
yeah.
Yeah.
In general, softer is good with a BMW M car. Troy Vaughn, for a fun daily driver and weekend canyon car, Audi R8 V10 or Porsche 992 Turbo S.
So a used R8 and the 992
I think those would be new.
New.
Those would be new versus new.
new versus new.
R8. I go R8.
I would also go, oof, this is
But you're not
hard.
gonna have the R8. We're not gonna have the V10 for as long as we will have
know.
some form of the.
I like the
of
V10
Porsche
and the
911.
R8. I think it's a little more characterful.
And you can get it in a convertible too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sensing that you like convertibles.
I do,
you
and
can
I
get
don't.
both
Well,
in a convertible.
You can get the turbo in a. Oh,
We
that's
reviewed
right. That's
it.
right. Duh, of
Strawberry
course,
Shortcake
of course,
was a
of course.
convertible.
Well, that's
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
luck.
And it's fast and nimble.
Yeah,
and
no, I
crazy.
think I'd go with the R8 though. That
Yeah.
car. I also love the R8 because it feels like an Audi.
Yeah.
It's like one of the only supercars from a regular car maker that feels there's like a connection that's not bothersome. It's almost endearing.
Yeah.
That it's got the same turn signal switch as a Golf or whatever, and
I like the R8 V10 a lot.
It's really
I do
good.
too.
It's really
The
good.
Turbo S, to me, the extra performance versus like a GTS is not usable most of the time.
Yeah, I would say.
And I'm not
exactly.
trying to be like a bitch about it. Like 450 horsepower ish in the GTS versus 600 and something. Like the gauges just go up faster. It's not like it's that much more fun. It's incrementally more fun, and it feels the same. when you're commuting to work, almost all 911s feel the same. Carrera SG, that's all the same, except the GT3, obviously. The R8 will feel special more of the time.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah,
Every
all
time
the
you
time.
start it,
all the
it'll
time.
feel
Yeah.
More of the time. Last one, Zach says, Porsche is not the only manufacturer to use variable geometry turbos. The Ford PowerStroke 6.0. That's a diesel, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. I think I knew that they do that
so
in
diesel
diesels.
technology
diesels
does use
have
it. Okay,
variable.
that makes sense. All right. And also, the Lotus website has options for Evora with 2
There you
seats.
go.
I'm telling you,
Zach
the one
with
I
the
drove
fact
did
check.
not
Okay.
have a
Set a
fucking
shelf.
back seat. It just had a parcel shelf.
This one has a back
I need to
seat.
see what the back seat looks like because I can't even really imagine
Well, my
it.
suitcase is in it right now, but I
All
can show
right.
it to you.
Well, we'll check it out. So if you want to ask us questions for the next show, get in our Patreon, become a patron. That's going pretty well, I think, isn't it?
It
Zach?
is. Yeah.
Patreon's going pretty
Well, I mean, it's good for us, but also the response has been good. People like getting the content early.
Yeah.
They like getting ad-free content if they want it, and and we're not. Back to your point, we're not sacrificing the normal show.
Exactly.
People are
Right.
still getting the
Yeah.
same content they got
key.
before. You
Yes.
can just get it in different forms now.
Exactly. And you get the ad-free experience on audio and video if you're a patron, which is good. Kyle and Christian. Kyle and Kristen. Blah. Thanks for coming down,
Yeah,
guys.
it's been a
Thanks for
pleasure.
having us.
Thank you, man.
And Kristen appears in my BRZ review, which is coming out in a couple weeks. She rode shotgun with me in the canyons and shared her thoughts.
Good
And
time.
did you like Good Vibes Breakfast Club too?
I
It was
did.
fun.
It was nice. It was
Yeah.
really chill. It was
Cars
good
and coffee
seeing,
in the canyons.
It's good seeing some old friends.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, a lot of like journalists and stuff end up there. It's like when there's a Cars and Coffee 30 miles away on a Friday, you get the kind of people that can get away for a couple hours on a Friday.
We were literally just talking about this. We're like, how do they do this?
Yeah.
It's like middle of the workday.
I mean, LA people, like, we work to play. We make our own schedules, and people who either run their own businesses or in media or whatever, you can make that time.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Bless.
I mean, it's a different crowd. You go on a Sunday, you go to Malibu and you get your doctors and your lawyers and your people who work their 9 to 5s, and that's fine too. But this one, it's like it's a bunch of people who can make their own schedules. So
the
that's
in crowd.
interesting, yeah. And it's a really high percentage of weed growers. Not
I mean, of
only
course.
because they can take the time off,
Of
but
course.
also if you take the canyons over the mountain the rest of the way, it goes to Palmdale, which is where all the grow ops are.
Right.
So they can
Right.
hit it on the way back.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Perfect rest stop.
For sure.
It does, yeah. We will be back in a few hours for the patrons. We're doing the Pro Driver only show at 5 p.m. this afternoon, and then our next show is not going to be until tomorrow or next week. We have a show tomorrow. We have a show tomorrow, Zach. I feel like we do. Why do I feel like we have a show on this calendar tomorrow? No.
No.
Not till next week.
Wait, yes, Sonia Reed.
Oh yeah, Sonia. You guys know Sonia Reed?
No, who's that?
She's like a Twitch streamer, a gamer, and she is also getting into car, I don't know, influencing or whatever. But she's a really cool chick. I've hung out with her a few times. Does she look familiar? She's a very she has an enormous Twitch following.
I like her hair.
No.
Yeah, she's cool.
She likes Lotus, apparently.
We hung out at the Radford thing. Yeah.
Hey, that's my car.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I wonder if she was fucking you. She destroyed the tires.
That's funny.
We'll have to,
Well, good
have
for
to
her if she
grill her
did.
about that later. Yeah, Sonia Reed will be here tomorrow afternoon, and then I will be in Newport for the weekend. So, Kyle and Kristen of The Drive, go read The Drive.
Please do.
Follow The
Please,
Drive on
please.
all the places that you can. Fix
a
your
good time.
fucking search function.
Yeah, well.
So it's on the list.
We got bigger fish to fry.
You know what story I clicked on? The Parade of Progress.
The Future Liner.
The Future Liner.
Yeah, that was fun. That was
That was
fun.
good.
We like throwing those kinds
I
of
would
stories
shit
together.
my pants if I saw a Future Liner parked on the street.
So getting that email from the guy, his exact quote, I think, was in the story, was like, it's my understanding these are not common to spot in the wild. I was like, I think so.
It's not common to fucking spot one outdoors.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all in
exactly.
museums.
Yeah.
And those
That's
pictures,
super
it
sick.
just looks like it just teleported from 1940 whatever and just
That
appeared in
must
the middle
be
of the night.
So fucking cool to drive around.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get behind the wheel of it.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we know where it is. We talked to the guy. They're nice. We got
Where was this photo taken?
outside Springfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, interesting.
Ludlow, Massachusetts.
Cool. These things, GM we talked about this with Donald Osborne last week. That whole Motorama era of GM, the Jet Age stuff, and there's all 4 of them. The Firebird concepts and all that stuff. That was my favorite Merica.
Peak shit right there.
Peak Merica. And these buses, for those people who don't know, these are really funky buses with a central driving position up top, like an observation platform on a train. These wraparound windshields, super Harley Earl, design, and the sides of the bus would fold out like a stage. And so there, it's open.
Yeah.
So this one is a display for what looks like a turbine or a jet engine of some kind. But there was another one that was like an actual stage.
They also had one that had a miniature assembly line for the cars in it, so like
cool.
showing it actually
That's
worked
so
and
cool.
put the little cars together.
I remember they sold one at Barrett Jackson. It was like $4 million, right?
Yeah.
Who bought that? The guy who bought
collector.
the guy who buys everything. He bought that.
And it's funny. This one that was spotted in Ludlow is owned by this bus company. Who the owner of the bus company just bought it out of a field in the early 2000s because he loved it. They tried to sell it in, I think, 2010, so recession. Put it on eBay. It didn't even get $500,000, and it didn't meet reserve.
Oh, man.
And now they're worth,
millions and millions.
Yeah.
But obviously, it runs and drives.
Yeah. They rent it out.
Commuting in it.
They take it to events as like a promotional thing.
So
and,
I would shit my pants if I saw one of those driving down the street.
I mean, I shit my pants when I got the email. I was like,
yeah,
we gotta figure this out.
It's so cool. And if I had one, I'd turn it into a fucking RV straight up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Van life, baby.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, that's on the drive. Go read about that. It's really
we
cool.
do fun stuff.
Yeah,
we found Big Red.
Oh yeah,
it's all good.
The turbine truck. Yeah. Tesla Autopilot will now recognize emergency lights. Oh, fucking better late than never. Jesus Christ. After crashing into 18 parked cop cars, motherfuckers. What a bunch of fucking assholes, I swear. We didn't sign the waiver.
We didn't.
We didn't click the FSD thing.
Nope.
People walking across the street are involuntarily involved in a fucking beta.
Yep.
It is such horseshit. That and more on the drive.
Check it out.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later tonight. Bye.